Daniel knew something was wrong before he even opened the apartment door. Not because it looked different, because it felt different. The hallway outside his apartment smelled faintly of dust and old carpet, the same as it always had. But standing in front of his door, keys in hand, he felt the strange sensation that someone was already inside waiting for him. He laughed it off. Long day at work. Too much caffeine. Not enough sleep. The lock clicked open. Inside, everything was exactly where it should have been. His shoes were by the entrance. His jacket was hanging over the kitchen chair. The mug from breakfast still sat in the sink. The apartment was quiet. Normal. Then he noticed the photograph. It stood on the bookshelf beside the television. A picture of his parents smiling on a beach during a vacation years ago. Only they weren't his parents. Daniel picked up the frame. The frame was his. He remembered buying it, remembered putting the photo inside himself. But the people in the picture were strangers. A man and woman stood on the beach, smiling directly at the camera. Behind them, the ocean rolled onto the shore. For some reason, the image unsettled him more than it should have. He placed it back down. Then he saw another one, the framed picture near the kitchen. It should have been his younger sister's graduation. Instead, it showed a teenage boy in a school uniform Daniel had never seen before. Same frame, same spot, wrong person. His stomach tightened. He walked quickly to his bedroom. The photo beside his bed showed four strangers standing in front of a suburban house. The picture that should have shown him and his friends at a concert was gone. He grabbed his phone immediately. His gallery was normal. Pictures of birthdays, family gatherings, vacations. His parents were still his parents. His sister was still his sister. Only the photographs inside the apartment had changed. Daniel searched every room. Nothing else was different. The furniture hadn't moved. The books sat exactly where they always had. Even the groceries he bought that morning were untouched. Only the photographs were wrong. That night he couldn't sleep. Every small sound in the apartment seemed louder than usual. The refrigerator humming, pipes shifting in the walls, the distant elevator in the hallway. At 2:17 a.m., Daniel finally got out of bed and walked into the living room. Moonlight spilled through the windows. The apartment felt colder. His eyes drifted toward the bookshelf. The beach photograph had changed. The same man and woman stood in the same place. But now there was a child standing between them. A boy, 7 years old, maybe. Daniel stepped closer. The boy looked familiar. Not familiar in the way strangers sometimes resemble people you know. Familiar in the way your own reflection is familiar. The boy had Daniel's eyes, Daniel's smile, Daniel's face. He stared at the photograph for nearly a minute before finally stepping back. The next morning, he drove to his parents' house. He didn't explain why he was there. He simply asked if they still had the old family photo albums. His mother looked confused, but brought them out from the closet. Daniel sat at the dining room table and opened the first album. Birthdays, Christmas mornings, school events, vacations. His parents appeared in every photograph. His younger sister appeared in every photograph. Daniel wasn't in any of them. Not one. There weren't ripped pages. No missing photos. No empty spaces where pictures had been removed. It was as if he had simply never been there. His mother noticed his expression. Everything okay? Daniel looked up. Where are my pictures? She frowned. What pictures? Mine. The room fell silent. His mother exchanged a glance with his father. Then she laughed nervously. Daniel, you always hated photographs. He stared at her. What are you talking about? You'd run away every time we took one. His father nodded in agreement. You were impossible to photograph as a kid. Daniel opened his mouth to respond, then closed it. because suddenly he wasn't entirely sure they were wrong. On the drive home, he tried to remember birthdays, school pictures, family vacations, specific moments where he had definitely stood in front of a camera. But every memory felt strangely incomplete, like remembering a dream after waking up. By the time he reached his apartment, his hands were shaking. He unlocked the door. Every photograph in the apartment was facing the wall. Every single one. Slowly, Daniel turned the nearest frame around. The beach photograph, the man, the woman, the child, and now there was writing at the bottom. Tomorrow's date. Nothing else. Just tomorrow's date. His eyes moved upward. There were 4 people in the photograph now. The man, the woman, the child, and standing slightly behind them was Daniel, not as he looked now. Older, maybe 10 years older. His arm rested comfortably on the boy's shoulder, as if he belonged there, as if he always had. Daniel dropped the frame. The glass shattered across the floor. But when he looked down, the photograph wasn't broken, only the glass. The picture remained untouched. And for the first time, Daniel noticed something he somehow hadn't before. Written in tiny letters in the corner of the photograph was a date. Not tomorrow's date, a date from 23 years ago, the day Daniel was born.